Jacobs, and I'm here in the pits with Rick Sipes, the winner of the main event last week. Rick, did you do anything different, any kind of different strategy when you won that race last week?
Not really. No, everything worked good.
I guess you blew a trans the week before or a couple weeks before and had some other type of problems. You got them all cured now, you think?
Yeah, we had transmission trouble. We went through quite a few of them for a while there. Then earlier in the season it was tires, and then we moved on to transmissions, and who knows, just bad luck. So everything worked out. Yeah, we got a new motor, and the motor really made a big difference in this car. We were running a small cubic inch motor before, so we had the big motor in the night. I was leading and blew the transmission. That was the first night with the new motor.
How's the car handling now? Were you happy with it last week? Of course, I know you're happy that you won the main, but are you happy to the point where it's at right now? Is it doing what you expect it to do, handling the way you want it to handle?
Yeah, it handled real good. I mean, you can always improve the thing, you know. You still got to get out of the motor a lot in the corners just because it's real slippery, but you can always improve it. But yeah, I was happy with the way it worked last week.
You feeling pretty good tonight?
Oh yeah, I feel great.
Yeah, you gonna get it again?
A lot of luck.
A lot of luck.
A lot of luck here to win a race. It ain't gas pedal racing, so.
A lot of competition out there, hard competition from what I've seen this year so far. Any 8 drivers could win the main at any given night. Am I correct by saying that?
Yeah, and on a short track, you know, and the way we're racing right now, we're all just kind of running around the bottom playing follow the leader, and anytime you do that, you can, if you don't start right up on the nose of the thing, sometimes it's real hard to get enough brakes to get to the front if you start in the 4th or 5th row. You may never see the front of the race.
Hope for a yellow once in a while, huh?
Well, the yellows, yeah, but if the guy in front of you doesn't make a big mistake, what are you going to do with him?
And some of these guys don't ever make a mistake.
You can't hit him, so that means you got to follow him.
Can you bump him?
No, you're not supposed to bump anybody.
Can't even let him know you're behind him?
No, I got put on probation for bumping.
Oh, is that right?
I'm off now, but I got the letter from the racetrack putting me on probation, and I'm off because of bumping. Because you get a little frustrated. You get back there in these other cars that you can outrun, but you can't get around them.
The guy won't let you around him either.
Well, no, nobody's going to let you have anything out here, I don't believe. And, you don't expect them to let you have anything, but just the way you go around this racetrack, that, if they stay on the bottom of the racetrack, chances are if you don't bump them or they don't make a mistake, you're going to end up behind them at the checkered flag. And you could run till next Saturday night, 5 million laps. And if the guy in front doesn't make a mistake, chances are you ain't going to get around him on the top side.
No way to set up the car where you can go around him at certain parts of the races? Just when he's on the place to be, what you're saying is on the inside of the racetrack. There's just no going around him. Huh?
Most of the time. The heat races, you can do some racing. And then we had a main early in the year where it was a heavy racetrack all the way across. I had a flat tire that night, and I started like 20th and came back to 4th before I had another flat. Now that was gas pedal racing, I call it.
Yeah, you didn't seem like you like that type of racing.
Yeah, I like that kind of racing. It's gas pedal racing, and the bigger the motor, the faster you go, and the more pedal you give it, the better it is, and that's a lot of fun. But when you just follow each other around, that's why we have the bumping going on.
Well,
you just get frustrated is what you get, and you just don't want to follow a guy when you should be chasing somebody else that's in front, and if you can't get through the thing, Yeah.
Well, I viewed the track when I got out here this afternoon. Must have had quite a bit of rainfall this week, because right at turn number 4, right up against the berm there's quite a bit of mud. It doesn't look like it's going to dry up tonight. Will that be a big factor?
Oh yeah, all the rain's going to be a factor, and the cloud cover, if the wind will just lay down right now, If the wind keeps going, it's not going to matter how much rain we had during the week, I don't believe. Because the wind's going to dry the surface out. It may be wet underneath, but the wind's going to take away the top of the track.
How do you like the real wide track? Do you like it this wide?
Yeah, the wider.
Or does it make it any difference to you?
No, wide track's a lot better to race on. Gives you more room to race.
What I've noticed, what I've noticed with this wide track. Okay, first of all, you've been around racing quite a few years, and so have I, and we haven't seen a Charger flip this year so far, and I think that is a big factor toward it, because they have a chance to pull out of it, and we don't have a lot of wall hitting also, because people have a chance to drive out of their spin-outs or whatever. Do you agree with me on that?
Yeah, I agree. Only, the wider the parking lot, the less chance you are of hitting another car.
Yeah.
And that's what we're doing here. We race on the bottom of the racetrack, and, it's 90 feet wide, I guess. So you got 10 foot of racing and 80 foot to park in. So there's really no reason to hit a car that's, exploded. If the guy gets up to the top of the racetrack, he can probably get out of his car and sit on the roof and watch the rest of the main event and be safe.
Yeah. Now, I was over at the Americana last week when you were on the Jim Ferguson show,
Yeah.
and Jim was driving a three-wheeler or quad that day for the first time,
Yeah.
and he asked you what advice you would give to him, and because I guess he went into some lake or pond or something, and you told him, well, first mistake you made was getting on it.
That is the first mistake.
Well, now I'm racing. I'm racing in the celebrity race next Saturday night.
In what? In a quad?
No, in a NASCAR Charger.
Oh, well,
and I won the last
that's
one.
safe.
And I won the last one, so I'm going to be in the back of the pack this time. What advice do you give to Jack Jacobs about winning that race next week?
Stand on it.
Stand on it. Okay, a little bit different from Jim.
Yeah, stand on it.
Well, Rick, congratulations from last week's race. You're
Thank
a good
you, Jack.
fella. Appreciate it. Thank
Bye.
you. This is Jack Jacobs and Dan Johnson. We're out in the pits again, once again with another driver, NASCAR Charger driver, car number 84, Paul Francis. Paul, how you feeling tonight?
Oh, pretty good, pretty good.
Ready to race?
You betcha.
Oh,
You
good.
bet.
How you been doing this year so far with this car?
Well, actually, we've only come out one time. That was the weekend before the 4th,
Uh-huh.
and brought the car out, tried it out, and took it home, made some changes, and we're back again. So,
How did it handle when you were out here before, Paul?
not too good. It was kind of loose.
Yeah.
You know, it was a brand new car. And
What kind of changes did you make?
Well,
was it a handling problem or?
Well, handling and no horsepower. Now I've got some horsepower, and hopefully I've got some handling.
So you'll find out tonight when you hot lap, maybe make some more adjustments in between,
right.
huh?
Try to.
Who's sponsoring you this year, Paul?
Well, I've got 3 guys. Jeff's Auto Repair donated the car, and Price Rentals, and Desert Bug. And those Desert Bug bent up the roll cage and everything for me. So.
Are you from Tucson?
Yes, sir, I am.
You married
Tucson.
fella?
Yes, I'm married.
Got any kids?
Got 4 kids, 4 boys.
What does your wife think of you racing?
Well, it's one of those things, you know, you just have to work out. It's,
Yeah. She's supportive of you?
Yeah, she is. She's
She out
starting to
here
be.
tonight?
No, unfortunately, she's a wedding in Phoenix.
Oh, is that right? Unfortunately, huh?
Yeah, she wanted to be here, but family members come first. So.
How long you been racing? Is this your first year? Or you
This is the
rookie?
first year in cars. I used to race motorcycles professionally out in California.
Oh, is that right?
I was on the flat tracker and TT.
So
Circuit.
last time you were out here was your first race in the
That was the
Charger
very
debate?
first one.
So you are a rookie this year.
Yeah, I'm a total rookie.
Total rookie.
You betcha.
What kind of strategy are you using? Just getting the feel of the track, feel of the car, and then go for it, or are you just playing it safe right now?
Right now, I just want to kind of get the feel of the car, and if it feels good, watch out, because I'm going to go for it.
You're going to go for
You
it. Well, that's
betcha.
good. You
You
got a good
betcha.
positive attitude. You know?
Oh yeah, that's what we're out here for, is have a good time and try not to get hurt. You know.
But you'd like to be in the winner's circle once in a while, right?
One time, I'd like to get in there.
Yeah,
You know, that would make me happy.
Well, you're a nice gentleman. Good luck to you, Paul.
Well, thank you very
be
much.
watching you out on the racetrack.
All
Thank
right.
you. Okay. This is Jack Jacobs again. I'm in the pits with car number 18, Pam Fetter. And Pam, you had a little bit of a mishap last week. What happened out on the racetrack?
It was all me. Every time I'd go into the turn, there was a big dip there, and I kept hitting it. But I'd put my elbow in one side, and I'd keep holding it like this. And then I was just so excited about coming around with a checkered flag, I didn't brace myself, and it just ripped it right out of my hand, and up I went.
What place were you in at the time? You remember?
Second or third.
I know. You were right up there. It was real unfortunate that
Yeah.
happened to you. You got injured a little bit. We won't talk about the injury. We know they sent you over to the hospital and got checked out. Had us all scared there for a
Yeah,
while.
they
but
kept me.
They kept you.
Yeah, I
huh?
ended up staying until late Sunday.
Is that right?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Well,
They thought I had a ruptured spleen, so they had to monitor me for a long time.
oh, that's good. Who's sponsoring you this year, Pam? To name a few of them.
El Campo Tire.
Quaker State.
No.
No, not Quaker
Ken's
State.
Exxon.
Ken's Exxon. Okay.
Gary's Towing. Capedo Pontiac, Off-Moth, Used Cars, Sparks Cycle Supply, Johnny's Restaurant, Aweka Welding, Astrolite Battery, Metro Oil Corporation, WW Enterprises, and he's the one that built the engine for my new car. I think that's it.
Now that was your new car that you had out here last week. How badly of damage is it?
Well, we had it was, my husband said it was totaled.
Is that right?
But we had a guy who straightens frames for a living call us and said he would be more than happy to fix my car back to new at no charge from me.
Is that right?
So it's been at his house ever since. We took it the day after the race. Well, after I got out of the hospital, my husband took it down there. And it's been down there ever since. And we went and looked at it. We're supposed to go back tomorrow, drop the engine back in it, and it should be out next week.
Now we were real surprised up in the press box. As a matter of fact, all the fans were surprised that we didn't think you damaged it that bad, but when Gary's towing towed you down the front straightaway, we could hardly believe our eyes. It wiped that whole front end out.
Well, what happened is the seat broke.
Oh.
And when the seat broke, well, with me, inside damage. When the seat broke, it gave extra slack to my belt, and I went flying into the steering wheel.
Oh, was that how?
And then my hand hit the screen, and my arm here hit the roll bars over here, and the the hood came. It cut the screen here. The corner of it came slicing through.
My goodness.
Yeah, it did quite a bit of damage, but it looks good now.
Were you scared, or you didn't have time to think about it?
I got knocked out.
Is that right?
Yeah, I did what I hit. I couldn't breathe. I panicked, and then I went out, and I didn't wake up until after they were already in there unbuckling me.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
And I'm extremely scared.
See, now that's why we came over to talk to you about it, see what was going on. You'll be okay.
Yeah, that's why I told my husband. He told me he wanted me to quit and not race anymore.
Yeah.
But I told him if I said if it was you and I told you you couldn't race, what would you do? He said I'd tell you where to go. So I said okay, fine. So he says I can race, so I'm here. If I don't come out tonight, I'll get you.
If you don't come out tonight, you may never come back out again.
Yeah. Because it was very scary. I've hit the wall many times, but for some reason that just scared me real bad.
It's a dangerous sport.
I'd never
sometimes.
gone so fast, you know.
Car was going a lot better than the old car, huh?
Oh my God, yes.
Is that right?
Yes, and I was only a quarter throttle. I mean,
is that right?
Yeah, that thing screams.
Well, listen, Pam, keep it in the safe lane tonight.
I'll try.
We'll be watching you. You're a real nice lady. You and your husband both. Good luck
Thanks.
to you. All right. Good. I'm here with Ron Bishop, NASCAR Charger, number 98. Am I correct? 98? Okay. Ron, how you been doing with this car this year?
Hey, it's running like a top, man. I never ran out of power yet.
You've been to Raven Raceway before with it?
Yeah, one time before. That was about 2 weeks ago.
How'd you do?
I did all right. I'm going to do even better this week.
How long? Go ahead.
It's third week of racing.
How long you been racing?
3 weeks now.
That's it?
Yeah, 3
Are
weeks.
you a rookie?
No, yeah, I'm a rookie.
And have you ever raced any other type of vehicles?
Well, I raced some go-karts for a while and drags and did some bike racing, but other than that, no stock car racing.
Sounds like you're having fun, though.
I love it. I'm never going to quit.
Is that right?
Never.
Uh-oh, you're sold. It's in your blood now.
I'll be driving late models in a couple of years. I see. I love it, man. My dad raced cars for about 30 years, so I got it in my blood, I think.
I see one of your sponsors, Bishop's Ford Covering.
Yeah.
Is this your company?
Yeah, me and my brother's partners. We've been in business for about 3 years.
Is that here in Tucson?
Yeah.
Where are they located?
1870 West Prince Road, 292-0070.
Who else is sponsoring you this year?
Lebo's Radiator Service made me a good radiator. Fisher Engineer and Art Fisher, he set the car up for me, and you know, he pretty much helped me put everything together the way it is, and he's the one who built this damn good running motor. Damn good running.
You were out here, that's fine. You were out here a couple weeks ago, 2-3 weeks ago, racing this thing. How did it handle on the racetrack?
Perfect. First time out, ever been out, and to me, it was perfect. I don't know what's supposed to be perfect, but it made it easy for me.
What kind of strategy did you use that night? Did you just want to get the feel of the car, or did you go for it?
Yeah, I was going. Well, the first heat race, I kind of lagged back, and I started seeing him get away from me, so I caught up to him, and I got fourth anyway, so I qualified for the main. And the main event, I was just kicking butt until my fuel cell kind of screwed up on me, but I moved up from 14th to 7th in about 10 laps.
Hey,
and
that's
dropped
not
out.
bad, especially being a rookie.
Now where I raced in Las Cruces last weekend, and then I won the heat race. I took second in trophy dash. Won a heat race, yeah.
Is that right? And here you only been racing?
That was my second week, and then I took second in the trophy dash, and then I cut a tire in the main event. But I was right up. Me and Vanhorn were right up front. They got second, but.
Took me 23 years to win my first race, and it was a celebrity race. So you're doing good.
Yeah, I'm hoping to. I'm looking for my first win soon, to be quite damn honest with you.
Car running good?
Yeah, man. Ain't a darn thing wrong with it. Runs cool.
You're just really pleased with it.
Oh, man, I'm happy.
How about the competition? It looked pretty rough to you out there?
Well, you know, I got my hats off to these guys, because from watching from the stands, I thought they were slow, but it ain't slow.
It looks slow from the stands.
It kind of does, but
when you're out there,
boy, they're moving, man. It's like a war out there.
Yeah.
First time out, it was like, well, it was weird.
Now, I watched some films of the celebrity race the other day, last night, matter of fact, that I raced in. And it looked like we were just creeping, but when you're in the car, the track is so wide.
Yeah.
You know, but when you're in the car, you really feel like you're a late model out there.
Yeah, you sure do. Yeah. Now I see why my dad liked it, though, man. It's exciting.
And the track looks different. Am I correct? When you're out on the racetrack than it does from here? Totally different.
It's a new world.
Like you're in a well sometimes.
It's a new world.
Yeah. Well, listen, Ron, good luck to you tonight.
Thanks
we'll be watching you out on the racetrack, and good luck in your future racing.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
All right.
Good interview, Ron.
You bet.
attention front and center, down in front of our grandstand area. For you folks on Stomper Hill, you may have to stretch and look a little bit to your right, but the man who brought it from dream to reality, and here's our opportunity to give him a nice warm round of applause for what he's already done and about to present us with this evening. Ladies and gentlemen, here he is, Mr. Raven Raceway, Dave Maness.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Got a couple announcements to make to you. First of all, don't forget, next Friday night we go into a doubleheader NASCAR night. So next Friday night we will be running on Friday night. The Chargers will be here. Then Saturday night will be the USAC Midgets and the NASCAR late models. So that's one of our special shows. For those that missed last Saturday night's race in action, I must tell you, you missed one heck of a good race. They had the sprint cars here. We had 20 sprint cars, 8 super modifieds. Guy by the name of Silver, I'm going to start calling him the Silver City Flash, I think. But he definitely put it on them 2 times in a row and put on one whale of a show here in the High Groove. We've had some rain this week, as you know. You see the lake over here, that's all the water we pumped off of 3 and 4. The water was flooded clear out 25 feet on the racetrack. We did get it pumped in. It might even make a interesting show tonight because I don't think they'll be running down there on the berm tonight, that's for sure. If they do, they'll be in 1.5 feet of mud. So looks like we'll have a high groove tonight for a change. We've had a lot of good moisture in the ground. Cliff Martins did a heck of a job preparing it this week, judging the rain and everything. So we're real happy about the way the racetrack looks right now. Got 46 Chargers. And for all you Charger fans, I'll tell you, this division is growing like crazy, and I'm real proud of these guys. They're our beginners, our kids, the ones that are just learning, getting into a cheap division, and they're providing themselves with a good entertainment and a good place to come race. So Charger people are real special to us out here because they've showed that the beginners need a place to race too, and they're doing it with 46 cars now, and I would venture to say in the next couple of weeks we'll probably have 50. We've got 26 late models tonight. That's a good show, so we're going to get on with the program. They're staging them over there now, getting ready to go. Thank you for coming out. We've got beautiful weather. We'll get the show on the road, and Carolyn here, she does our honors. Linda? Uh-oh, it's got the high heels on. It's going to be sinking. All of you would please stand, take off your hats. Appreciate that.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red flare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
This lady we're real proud of. Got a new flag we're going to be raising, donated by an MIA or a POW veteran of the war. It's an MIA POW veteran flag. We're going to put it on this other tower over here. We will have the post hopefully put up this week. So those of you look up there and see a black flag that has a special remembrance for all of us. So it will be up by next week. I want to thank y'all for that. Let me see how our time is here. We're right on time for a change. I don't believe that. Okay, they are staging the first heat race, so we'll turn this back up to Tom, Boyd, and Jack. There is some programs left out there. We got an awful lot of door prizes tonight. There's very few programs left, so you might want to get out there and get one. We got a lot of nice door prizes. Also want to thank Finley Distributors for making a major improvement in the car that Jimmy Brassfield's driving right now. I don't know if you noticed it tonight. Supporting a fresh paint job. Got a new motor in it, and they're getting heavily involved. So Finley Beer, maybe they're trying to send a warning out to Budweiser and these other guys, but that looks good. Thank you to all the Finley people here tonight. Have a good time. Go ahead, Tom.
Thank you, Dave. Thank you, Dave. It's always good to hear you look at that stopwatch and say things that are very positive about being on time.
It's in his hand. Carsey, in that car number 5, he's supposed to be in 4th position right now, so let's see what George does as he tries to make his way on up.
Did we get a clarification?
Yes, it is Brad Marble in number 26.
So Brad Marble will be behind the wheel of that number 26 machine, and as you just saw there, they have not pleased Mr. Camp to the extent of giving them the start, so he will give them one more chance.
Perhaps they're waiting for John Watson in the number 30 car. It doesn't look like John has made it out on the field yet.
And giving him a little extra opportunity to get into the field. It's always sad to see them come to race and then, for whatever reason, not be able to. And there are always one too many reasons available not to be able to get out here for the start of a race, and that would appear to be the case with John Watson.
What do you think, Tom? Is he going to go green this time?
I think we're definitely going green for the first time on a Saturday night. Sure enough, we do. We're off and running with our doubleheader. First these gentlemen, and then the NASCAR Winston late models coming up later in your program. So the Chargers get us off and running on a Saturday night. And in the early on, things are still looking clean and green, Jack, our favorite way to go racing here.
Terry Duffick taking the lead, but up against the wall he goes.
And back off of it he comes, so he does no worse than lose about 6 positions, but he drops from in front to suddenly about 7th place as the number 7 machine of Colin Germain. Very opportunistic driver is right there, ready to take over the reins of leadership, and that's what he's doing right now, almost solely up in turn 3 and turn 4, taking a saner approach. He's right there in that early groove, Jack, just below the center line of the racetrack here tonight. The number 06 machine is that of Don McMurray in 06, currently in 2nd place and all alone. Ha ha ha. He's got the whole rest of the field on his rear, and he's got company coming up on the outside, and they get a little close back there, do a little brushing, as a matter of fact, coming out of turn 3. Number 10 getting forced wide, and Numbers has now moved all alone into 2nd place out there behind Colin Germain, but he's still got a good margin of ground to make up, and unlike his predecessor in that position, the rest of the pack is not quite so close to his own rear bumper as Colin Germain takes it by in the lead in the early on of our first NASCAR Charger heat race for you with Don Umphris in the number 10 machine, Don McMurray in 06 giving chase. Running 2nd and 3rd right now, Carmen Griffith, Bob Pennington, and Perry Dufy round out your top half-dozen racers in this heat race. There's your leader, Colin Germain, having it all his way in that number 7 machine, cashing in, as it were, with the earlier problems to our earlier leader out here.
Colin really opening up the gap right now from Humphreys as he comes into turn number 3, and it's gonna, I'll tell you, there's not too many laps left, so if Humphreys is gonna do anything, he better do it pretty quick.
He's got a lot to do, as we've already mentioned. There's Colin Germain in the 7 machine with that much of a lead right there. On the number 2 position car, Dan Humphreys in the number 10 machine, and now for sure running all alone in 2nd place, probably just content at this point. To get himself lined up for the main event coming up later tonight as George Camp gives him the white or 1 lap to go indicating flag. Colin Germain knows if he can keep it in the center of things, so to speak. Likewise, Chris in that number 10 machine. They will, in fact, finish 1-2 here in our first heat race this evening for the NASCAR Chargers.
Well, we've got a battle going on for second and third place and fourth and fifth, as Colin Germain wins this first heat for the NASCAR Charger division, and Umphreys takes second.
By that much of a margin, too, over Umphreys in that number 10 machine. And after that, they do all sprinkle out. Carmen Griffith, though, hangs on for third place in the number 80 machine.
So Colin Germain wins the first heat here on a beautiful Saturday night at Raven Raceway, doing a really good job of driving, just opening it up right toward the front of the race. Hey, folks, let's give him a big hand. Colin Germain.
Of Tucson, Carl, winner of the first half of the points in Las Cruces and currently leading in Phoenix.
Herb Lang, Steve McGuire, Ron Whitwell, Dana Fight, George Camp with the green in hand, and nope, he doesn't let him go. Oh, he's pointing.
Oh, yes, that's the teacher coming out in George Camp. He thinks he's standing in front of the blackboard at the front of the class. Sometimes he has to do that in order to keep these guys in a classy fashion. But it's up to Ernie Mincy now on the pole position, as well as Mike Hancock sitting outside of him to match him in setting the pace.
Ernie was doing his job. It's just Mike Hancock got a little anxious there.
For the rest of the field, the AM stands for Adam Michael on the side of Mike Hancock's machine. That's in honor of his son. And we've got green for our first heat racing in the NASCAR Winston late models. And who bolts into the lead but Mike Hancock in that 73 AM machine. But he's got some stiff competition hanging on the lower left rear corner of that machine. And he's flat out here in the footsteps right now of Carl Trimmer and company as they come around the first time. Hancock is steaming it on from Carl Trimmer and that 74 machine. Jim Brassfield is right behind him. Jimmy put an early move on up in lap 1, down out to side of turn 1 and into turn 2. It looked like he might snip away at the lead, not quite able to do so. In the next phase, it remains Hancock, Trimmer, and Brassfield running 1, 2, 3 at the top. And once again, we're staying lean and clean. It's still under the green, Jack, our favorite way to race.
Boy, look at Brassfield trying to make the moves on Trimmer right now, but he couldn't quite catch him on the inside.
And Trimmer trying to come up with his own moves to put on Mike Hancock, who we haven't intentionally left out in our commentary across the course of this evening, but another of those who has been clawing away, inching ever upward more and more, week after week here at Raven Raceway. Right now, running in the lead, but by scant split seconds on that 74 machine, Carl Trimmer, who just got a kiss.
He got a bump from Brassfield.
From Brassfield, right in the heart of turn 1, letting Mr. Trimmer know, I am here. Don't miscue, or I'm going to hash you out. Hancock, Trimmer, and Brassfield. That's how they're running in the top 3 spots right now. And running really lean and clean so far. These machines sounding and looking really good tonight as Dana Fight looks to be a bit of a problem up there in turn 3. We get close company and close corners down here, including Brassfield, out of turn 4 that costs him a little time. But it could have wound up costing him a lot more as Dana Fight now succumbs to smoke up in turn 2.
And the white flag is out. One more lap to go, and Trimmer makes his move on the inside, but no, he doesn't get him that time, Tom.
Didn't quite get it done. He gave it a power surge. It's going to be interesting to watch Carl Trimmer here. He loves doing this little trick up there in turn 2. He does it, turns it well tonight, snips the lead away from Eloy and Mike Hancock in the 73 AM machine. And so the guy who led virtually all of the race is looking up at checkered flag time to surprise number 74, Carl Trimmer.
Looks like he hung right behind Mike Hancock and made his move toward that last lap. Looked like a little driver strategy there. Let's give him a big hand, folks. Kyle Trimmer! Let's give him a big hand, too. Car number 73, Mike Hancock.
Absolutely. A great job out of Mike Hancock tonight, and Steve McGuire down racing amongst us from Phoenix tonight in the number 24 machine, taking third place, having eked that away from Jimmy Brassfield in the number 26 machine.
Those out there, these guys just putting in all kinds of hours and money into these vehicles. Good racing. Oh, look at that. Scott Hammond. I don't believe we've seen him out here, the pole sitter. Have we, Tom, the car number 75?
Not to my knowledge. I think he is one of the new bloods, and we do want to thank a member of his crew tonight for coming up and setting the record perfectly straight right at the outset of our relationship with that driver. That's a nice way to get things off and running.
And I know we haven't seen that 95 car, Dan Baldwin, that T-Bird. Good looking car. Wish I had that. I wouldn't put it out here, but
is our air conditioning still running?
No, I don't think it's working.
Uh-oh.
It flew to coop.
So the sauna has returned here, huh?
Yep. We're just as warm, if not warmer, than the rest of you all.
I'm sure it's warmer than what it is outside. In fact, we just may pull the cables out of the wall here and venture outside ourselves a little bit later on. Scott Hammond in the 75 machine, Gordon Sams. That's how they align at the front of this pack right now. Seems probably to be of a nature that will turn on. It sure does. George Camp says, let's go racing, guys. We're off and running with a great start here tonight. Let's keep it up. So, Gordon Sam shoves that number 23 machine from the outside and into the lead here in our second heat race for the NASCAR Chargers tonight. See a nice move being put on by that machine on the outside back there. Jim Embry for one in the 57 machine, and Don Brown, another in the 76, as they elude the rest of the pack and try to move up on your leader. Gordon Sams right there in the 23 machine, followed by Embry, Brown, and Scott Hammond in that order. Here top four here in the very early on of the second Charger heat race this evening at Raven Raceway. It's just a little while till they up there in turn 2, Jacks. Pretty close quarters up there between a couple of cars, but they're able to, with a minimum of fishtailing, keep unentangled, as it were. 96, Don Brown going to move on, and that number 96 machine, high and outside, unable to get it done, but sitting to the right rear of the closest competition in front of him as he battles his way through turn 1. But now by turn 3, he's also got some folks moving up on his bump.
Uh-oh, I see some metal over between 3 and 4 that's come off the car. Let's see what George does. Yellow flag they're calling for over there.
As inspired by Ray Judy, the man you pointed out earlier, walking down to his location. He was the first to spot it and get the yellow flag out and get their attention called to some debris on the track, which they'll get removed as rapidly as possible. And with any luck at all, it will be a very intermittent yellow caution flag that we go racing under here tonight. But for Gordon Sams, that is going to mean a closing up of quarters behind him.
And Embry hits the wall over there, Tom, during the yellow flag, that 57 car.
Our first and only spin out so far here this evening, and that was a bit of a concern for us because of how the track conditions appeared in the early on here this evening. It looked like it might be, if it were going to be one way or the other, a little more so than the other, on the wet side. But that has not been clearly indicated so far by either these, the Charger, or the late model drivers who were out for their first heat race, and as won by Carl Trimmer moments ago. So we'll see what happens.
Well, Tom, I also want to recognize those fellas from Gary's Towing. Always doing such a great job here at Raven Raceway. Whenever you need a tow truck, call Gary's Towing. That's what I'll do. I hope I don't need one, but when you do, you want good service, and you'll get it at Gary's Towing.
They don't miss much, I'll tell you, and neither does Gary of Gary's Towing after becoming one can only presume, a little bit personally unhappy over weeks of not seeing some of his favorites come out and do as many hot laps as he would have liked to have seen them do. He, one week, set aside $50 that he gave us up here. He asked Tony Barrow, our birthday gal tonight, if she wouldn't keep track of who came out and took hot laps and who did the most. And he who did the most found himself the winner of $50 cold hard cash rather instantaneously to tuck into his pocket as a result of taking the most unannounced hot laps.
That'll get him out there next time.
Night. I think it was Carl Moldner Jr. too, if my memory serves me halfway correctly.
I believe that's who it was.
Who wound up taking the $50. So sometimes it doesn't pay to sandbag or to lay back in the pit fields, but to be out here during the hot laps and track packing portion of our program, putting the machine through its paces and finding a chronological order in that evening's racing program, so to speak. And that night it certainly paid off for Carl Moldner Jr.
Looks like Todd Izzo in that car number 2 is going to be out of this one. Gary Stoyan throwing the hook on him and pulling him into the pits. Haven't had any of the female drivers out here yet, but there are no powder puffers, folks. They'll be coming out in their next heat race, or the next NASCAR Charger heat race. Sheila Vanhoff, Pamela Fetter, Michelle Gibson. I don't know if Michelle's out here tonight, but like I said, there are no powder puffers. They get right up with these fellas. Looks like we got a little problem with Terri Bennett's car. And Terry's going to head it into the pits right now.
Little preventative maintenance. Maybe it's not so preventative. But rather than take one more lap even around, he's going to head in now and find out what is producing that trail of smoke behind his machine. So we'll be single file. Gordon Sams will be up top. They've bunched up fairly tight behind him now by comparison to how they were running before our first yellow flag spin of the evening, involving the number 2 machine of Todd Izzo. Dana Fight also in his least favorite position right now, the racing machine parked in the old infield area. Green flag is in starter George Camp's hand, and if he's happy with them, feels they're copacetic, then we'll be off and running once again. And sure enough, we are. We've got the green. Here we go. Back to racing. Saturday night at Raven Raceway. Gordon Sams in that orange and black in honor, I hope, of the Cincinnati Bengals. Number 23 machine.
Don Brown in that 96 giving him a battle. And look at, here comes Eric Simonson in number 97 up on the outside. So it's a three-way battle for the lead right now.
The surging pass right out of the middle of the pack and past the earlier on leader, Gordon Sams, who drops from first to third as number 96, Don Brown, powers into the lead here in our second NASCAR Charger heat race of the evening. Now trying to stave off the competition himself, so Sams all of a sudden, instead of leading and watching it all in whatever his rear view contraption might be, is now looking up and doing so to 3 others currently as number 97 bolts into the lead. Eric Simonson pulls ahead of Don Brown. Simonson and then Brown. Sams continues to run forth right behind Kirk Hall.
Lap number 5 coming up as the yellow comes out.
Once again with one gone, a spin up here in turn 4. And boy, look out.
That's Scott Hammond in number 75 losing it over there at the number 4 corner.
The others wonder just how big an arc is he going to present us with here. And if he's going to do that very often, may as well go ahead and paint a target on the left side of that machine, right?
A little surprise for the rest of the field. Well, we've got 4 laps down in this 8-lap event, Tom.
Oh, Izzo is back out and into the fray now.
Thought he had a flat tire, but evidently not.
Either that or he jumped out and used one of those little canisters to fill it up real quickly.
Maybe he thinks he's an off-road guy where you can drive with a flat tire, but not here, not on the circle track.
So they stack up single file. The green flag waves per George Camp once again, and we go racing once again with the number 97 machine in the lead, but Tucson and Kirk Hall putting on on an early move in that number 17 machine, currently running along in third place, right behind Don Brown, number 96. But Hall puts his move on the backstretch coming out of turn 2 and passes him by. Moves his own machine into second place and sets his sight on the leader, Eric Simonson, in number 97. In the brief, you see it there, lead on Tucson and Kurt Hall, followed by Don Brown and Gordon Sams in the number 23 machine. That's how your top 4 are currently running here in our second NASCAR Charger heat race of the evening.
75 went into the pit, Scott Hammond. We also have a battle going on for third place right now between Don Brown and Gordon Sams, and they're side by side. Look at this.
Sams is going to take the advantage of not all that fishtailing that his competition came up with down there in turn 4.
And he took them.
And so as you see, the general rule of thumb, the smoother driving does prevail because it takes less time when you do it nice and straight. Not that it's always an easy thing to do it that way. As the white flag for 1 lap to go, indication falls for Eric Simonson and Kurt Hall in that order, followed by Gordon Sams and then Don Brown with Jeff Dwight in the number 11 machine. Rounding out your top 5 as the checkered flag is about to fall, and a win to be recorded by number 97, Tucsonan Eric Simonson, collecting victory here this evening just ahead of Kurt Hall, also of Tucson, running 1-2.
So Simonson wins this second heat for the NASCAR Chargers. Eric Simonson in the 97 car. Kirk Hall in second place, followed by Gordon Sams. Gordon doing a fine job of driving. And Don Brown in number 96. In fourth place, Jeff Dwight in fifth, and Bob Langston in 45.
For the NASCAR Winston late models, that's the 9 of them. Pick it up, Jack, and let's go green.
George Camp has the green flag in hand. Off the fur they come, and they're on the green with Smiley leading them around. Marion Smiley pulls her out in front right now. Dan McFedron takes second place, but perhaps not for long because here comes the rest of them. And Smiley looking good as he comes down the front chute at car number 9. There's your leader. Car number 22, Dan McFedron being challenged by Terri Green in that 14 car. And Terri right on McFedron's rear. Oh, almost. Look out. Into the wall goes number 88, Dwayne Lang. And he had a chance to hit the brakes before he hit it. So the yellow flag comes out. As Dwayne Lang, I don't know if he lost it or bumped it or what, but anyway, he's up against the Miller genuine draft sign on the back straightaway. So the yellow flag comes out as Gary's Toyin heads over there and see what happens with Dwayne Lang, whether he'll be back into this one or not, Tom.
And only our second dip into the yellow tonight, Jack. For that we are thankful.
It's been running real smooth so far. Not too many yellow flags. Well, I'll tell you, this is going to be an exciting main event. Both mains. 45 cars in the Chargers, 26 in the late models. So Dwayne Lang in the car number 88 spins out or tie rod breaks or whatever. If you spin out twice in the late model division or the Charger division, you have to go into the pits. You cannot finish the race. But I think Dwayne might be out of this one. Looks like a tie rod or something broke on that vehicle. So Marion Smiley, your current leader right now in that car number 9. Dan McFedron in second place. Terri Green in third place. Dwayne Lang looks like he's going to be out of this one. Car number 94, Jack Cocott in fourth place right now. Jack from Tucson, along with the rest of them in this field tonight. One lap down in this first or second late model race here at Raven tonight. So I do not believe Dwayne's going to be back on this one. The hook's on him right now. Yellow flag still out. I'm curious to see if Dan McFedron closes up the gap before the green comes out. Now, he's way back from Smiley right now. Let's see what kind of strategy he uses when the green comes out again. Looks like the track's all cleared up. Let's see what George Camp does, if he has him go around one more time or not. Yellow's still out. George puts the yellow flag down, picks the green one up. Let's see what happens. Here comes Smiley, McFedron, and green. Off the number 4 corner they come. Camp gives him the green flag as Marion Smiley leads him down the front straightaway. Tom Boyd puts the clock on Smiley right now and see what kind of lap he turns as McFedron falls back a little bit, and Terri Green in that car number 14 right on McFedron's tail. Smiley opening up just a little bit more, but here comes Jack Cocott in 94 trying to catch up to Terri Green in car number 14, and Cocott right on Green's tail. And look at Cocott on the inside. The battle we've got going on for 4th place and 3rd place, and we've got one awry at number 4 corner as the yellow flag comes out again. Rye or a wheat, I don't care. There's an old word I used to use, but
couldn't say Fruit Loop, could we?
nope.
So another quick and we hope brief yellow tumbling. Been shy on those tonight, plus our timely start, so program is running along pretty well here tonight, Jack.
It's running real smooth. Let's hope it continues that way. So there you have it. The way you see him is what you get. Marion Smiley, the car number 9, he's your current leader. Dan McFedron in that 22 machine, he's in 2nd place right now. Terri Green moved on up into 3rd place. Jack Cocott right behind Terri Green. And Bill Brandon in number 55, currently in 5th place right now. Roy Gibson in 61, right behind Brandon. And bringing up the rear, Norm Schupner in that number 11 vehicle.
You mentioned earlier that we had put the clock on
Marion,
and we did not get a clean reading, so as soon as we are availed our next racing green, we will commence with the clocking of the Laughing Boy and see how fast he is touring this facility tonight. I see the green flag going into the right hand of George Camp, Jack, so I think you're about to go racing once again.
I think so too. Let's see what kind of move McFedron tries to put on Marion Smiley as they head into turn 3. And here they come around 4. George Camp looks at him, gives him the green flag, and Marion Smiley leads him down the front straightaway. Smiley out in front right now. McFedron in 2nd place in that car number 22. But look at Terri Green falling back into 4th place as Jack Cocott jumps up into 3rd. And here comes Cocott up to the side of McFedron, but he doesn't do it. But what a battle we've got going on for 2nd place right now. And now he does. Cocott moves into 2nd place. McFedron falls back into 3rd. And Terri Green in 4th place right now as Marion Smiley opens it up with an 18.67 lap. So Smiley opens the gap as Cocott tries to throw out the line and reel him back in. Dan McFedron in 22 falling back from Cocott. We've got another battle going on for 4th place. Car number 55 and Terri Green in the car number 14. And Smiley brings it down the front straightaway. McFedron desperately trying to catch up to Smiley. He's got a ways to go if he's going to do it. Lap number 5 right now in the books. 3 more to go. 18 and 81 seconds for Marion Smiley as he takes number 4 a little bit wide. Brings it back down inside. Passes Norm Schupner in that car number 11. So Cocott in 94 closing up the gap just a little bit. McFedron falling back from Cocott right now. Looks like Billy Brandon at 55 having a problem heading into the pitch. Lap number 7, 1 more lap to go. The white flag comes out for Marion Smiley with an 18.83 lap. So Marion looking a lot better than he did last time. Won a main event a few weeks ago, but crashed the wall. But here he comes, your winner of this main event, Marion Smiley in car number 9, followed by car number 94, Jack Cocott. Dan McFedron being battled by Terri
Green right now, but McFedron takes third place. Green winds up in fourth place. And Roy Gibson takes it up in fifth place. Hey, let's give him a good hand, folks. Marion Smiley. I know Marion's got a lot of fans out there tonight. All the folks from the Cove Road Lounge and the Wooden Bucket out here to see Marion do his thing on a Saturday night at Raven Raceway.
Cranked up because George Camp has got the green in hand. John Thomas and John Vanhorn bring them around. They're in turn 3, and they'll be getting the indication anytime as to whether or not it is green. And we are off and running with an early push being put on by Vanhorn in that red number 1 at 99, scooting right into second place. That would be Larry Artman, putting the most heat right now on John Vanhorn in the number 1 machine, and lucky Larry Davis is running along in third place right now. That's the early positioning on these guys. So early we haven't even completed the first lap for them yet. And here comes Vanhorn on the outside, Harlen on the inside, and Vanhorn with just a little bit of an advantage, which he loses, as well as the lead up there in turn 1. And oh my goodness, some neat crisscrossing going on by Lucky Larry in 77, moving it through traffic up there and preserving his car, losing third place, but he'll watch it from as good as fourth place right now, and that's not too bad for him. But in the lead, and now beginning to pull away from him, Larry Artman. We've now got the clock on up here as Vanhorn tries to close things up, at least regain a second positioning behind the early on lead that he once held. Right now he's passing Lucky Larry back there and running in third place all alone right behind, looks like Butch McCleskey's machine. Here they come out of turn 4. Artman still in the lead, if not commanding it now, in the 99 machine as the hood on that number 56 begins to fly awry. Number 36, Butch McCleskey, so that could be a problem for him. It could just create a black flag situation as we go yellow now with a wild spin up there just shy of turn 3, but it looks like he's back and under his own power. So it ought to be a quick fix here under the yellow.
We also have a spin out that car number 40, Don Lord, Tom, just beyond turn number 2. So Don Lord spinning out.
But not losing power as Tony Izzo glides by in the 02 machine. Those winds we were expecting maybe have bypassed us here tonight.
Well, Tom, there's an old saying at Raven Raceway, if it's windy in the daytime, it's not here at night, or vice versa, and it was windy out here this afternoon, but they've subsided, so
I think
that's
we
good.
had a pretty strong breeze all over this valley earlier today, which is just as well if the byproduct of that is the moving out of these clouds that were in the area most of the day, then great. We're all for it. So Larry Artman takes the early lead here. Butch McCleskey giving chase now from position number 2, followed by John Vanhorn and lucky Larry Davis. Then David Henken rounding out the top 5. Still early on in this, our third heat race this evening for the NASCAR Chargers. So Don Lord gets his assist from the field and into the pit row gallery. The yellow flag waving probably for the last time for these guys here as Artman, McCleskey, and Vanhorn will most likely punch it under green the next time around, or maybe we won't, depending on, well, yeah, it looks like we will now.
Yeah, we do.
Quick comment down there by Mr. Judy to the driver of that 78 machine, John Thomas, Jammin' JT, who heads to the pit field. A leak under there of some sort that Ray Judy advised him of and said, hey, go get it patched, and if you get that done in time, come back and we'll go racing. Will we do it here? Yes, we do. The green is out once again. Artman gets his chance. McCleskey tries to push it up from that second position, with what looks like a very loosening hood situation. So it's going to be interesting to keep an eye on that as we watch John Vanhorn.
Look at Vanhorn
Put on a great move on the outside, going high out of turn 1 and keeping it that way through turn 2 and down the backstretch. But don't stay too high up there, Mr. John, or you're going to have some whopping problems.
Oh, there goes that hood.
Blowing right back in his face. That had to be, even though he knew it was coming, for it to happen right there. And with that much traffic around him, Jack, whoo.
That was frightening.
That'd be like 65 right in the heart of downtown on the interstate and having that happen to you.
Well, that was some good moves by John Vanhorn as he jumped out in front. Uh-oh, what's going on with Larry?
Larry getting a little fishy up there, but he's able to straighten it out, but not to stave off number 69, David Henken. Puts the move on him when he saw the opportunity presenting itself, and so he has powered himself into contention to go up to the front of the pack, perhaps. Still a lot of traffic amongst these guys out there, Jack. They can almost figure a way when you least expect it to get in the way of another. John Vanhorn right now having it all his way at the top. Likewise, David Henken in number 2 position right now. Those guys don't have to worry about a whole lot right now, except for somebody screwing up, throwing them with a spin, and bunching them up under the yellow again. It doesn't look like that's about to happen. McCluskey got rid of his problem, literally and figuratively, as the white flag flies. You see the hood lying upside down in the infield area as we go to the last lap of this one. And McCluskey probably having the least heating problems he's ever had right about now, forcing in all that, well, whatever chilly air he can find through that open hood situation as the checkered flag falls for John Vanhorn.
John sure wanting to win out here. He's had some tough luck.
David Henken takes 2nd place. Larry Hartman, who came on to lead it in the early on, winds up in 3rd place in that number 99 machine.
John Fetter jumping in front of Tony Izzo right down the front straightaway at the last lap, and John Fetter taking 4th place. Good job of driving by John. Tony Izzo in that car number 02. Hey, let's give him a big hand. John Vanhorn. John really needing to win out here at Raven. Having some tough luck this year.
Of Brian Clayton, also of Tucson, will be bringing up the rear of the field here, the 11th in a field of 11. And Jack, you ready to go racing?
I'm ready as George Camp gives him the green flag as they come off the number 4 corner. And Ed Fine jumps out in an early lead as they come down the front straightaway, but he's got a lot of traffic behind him. And look at John Banks, Tom, in that car number 49 alongside Bill Harless. And Banks trying to move it into 2nd place right now as Ed Fine leads him on around turn number 3. And they're all together. Oh, look out at number 4. 3 abreast almost. Oh, look out, car number 79. John Banks jumps out in 2nd place in your number 49 car, followed by Bill Harless in that number 62 machine, but Ed Fine is not opening up the gap just as yet. And they're all bunched up away back from your leader, Ed Fine. Let's see what happens as they head into 3 and 4. Fine leads him down the front straightaway. Cars weaving back and forth. Look out, here comes Pamela Fetter down the front straightaway on the outside in her older car. Ed Fine still leads him down the back chute as John Banks looked like he scraped the wall a little bit on that time, and Bill Harless trying to catch up to Banks, but Bill falling back a little bit. And Banks driving his heart out right now. Banks looking for a win here at Raven Raceway. So Fine leads him down the back straightaway. John Banks trying to throw out that line and reel back in Ed Fine. And here comes car number 91, Brian Clayton, moving on up into 3rd place right now, overtaking Bill Harless. And look out, we've got one, into the mud. That's John Banks in 49. Look out, John. My goodness, in 2nd place, had it all sewed up and got a little bit too far inside. So John Banks is going to wind up at the rear of the pack right now as Ed Fine, your leader, has a little bit of traffic. Look out, and he gets bumped. Five laps down. And we've got another one into the mud right now. Car number 79 and 79 trying to hold it in. That's Ray Wilson in 4th place. And Ray doing a good job of handling that car. Look out in that number 1 corner, Ray, as Sheila Vanhoff is right behind him. So John Banks was in 2nd place. He's bringing up the field now. Ed Fine, your current leader, right there down the front straightaway, headed into 1. He's your leader right now with Brian Clayton in 2nd place. Here comes Bill Harless in 62 in 3rd, and number 98. And that's Ron Bishop in 4th place right now, if you lost him. John Fetter spinning out a little bit over there by turn number 2, but John got it back under control. White flag for Ed Fine, the white flag lap. Tom Boyd's got a clock on him right now. So all Ed Fine has to do in that car number 71 is hang in there. As Brian Clayton, that's your 2nd place car, just come down the front straightaway. So Ed Fine almost going to lap the field here as he heads up toward turn number 4, right behind John Banks. And he does. Ed Fine wins this one. Good job for Ed. And there's your 2nd place car, Brian Clayton in that car number 91. Here's a battle going on for 3rd place right now. Bill Harless in that car number 62. He's being challenged. Oh, 98 jumps right in front of him. That's Ron Bishop. A little banging and shoving there with Sheila Vanhoff right behind him. So Ron Bishop with a few maneuvers as they came down the front straightaway. And it's not over yet. Now it's all over. Hey, let's give him a big hand. Car number 71, one of my favorite numbers, Ed Fine. That's my old car number. Well, I had an A after the end of it. You know what the A stood for? No, it did not. Now, it stood for airhead. Okay.
Flagman starter George Camp's hand, and you know he's just itching to go racing because he loves these late model guys. And he gives them green, and Rick Sykes gives you an early on thrill as he plants the power in that machine up there in turn 4 and then staves off Ivan Russell through turn 2 as Jack Moore puts some neat moves on the lower inside of turn 2. To rascal himself, if you will, into 3rd place. But he's got close company in sights. Looks like he's out here to prove a little something that maybe he began proving back on fireworks night earlier this month when he was running like a fireworks himself. A brand new machine, a brand new power plant in there. And as I hope you had the chance to see in the newspaper article this week, he really is a nice, soft-spoken gentleman. And right now, running with a leg up, so as to speak, on Ivan Russell in that Coors Light number 17 machine you see back there. Jack Moore continues on in 3rd place right now. And then the sprinkling and the spread out of the rest of the field. Sykes, Russell, Moore, Banghart flashing by in that order, followed by Ron Lutes. Rounding out your top handful of drivers in this, our 3rd heat race this evening for the NASCAR Winston late models. Let's get a clock on Sykes, see what we've got. Clock is off and running with Ricky. So we'll take him on this tour and see what kind of a time we produce for you here for the Budweiser 4U machine of Tucsonan Rick Sykes. Jack's ready to shut that watch down with a timing of
1900s, right on the money.
19 on the nose for your front runner, Rick Sykes.
I'll get another one, Tom. He was in a little traffic on that last one. Let's see what happens now.
And Russell running into traffic himself as he tries to close it up on Sykes. Inside turn 3, and look at the fishtailing. Russell has to override coming out of turn 4, but he doesn't. He's running 2nd. He looks to be 3rd, waiting on that T-bird of Chuck Boslin to get out of his way so he can go rabbit chasing on Rick Sykes. Once again, Sykes about to take the white flag for 1 lap to go for Sykes, Russell, Moore, and Banghart. A little more spread out now as Rick Sykes comes gunning around with the gun sights all set to pick up that checkered flag is waved by George Camp. Rick Sykes, ladies and gentlemen, running off with this one, followed by Ivan Russell, Jack Moore, and Paul Banghart.
Ron Lutes and Pat Dalton bringing up the field along with Chuck Boslin and Lou Malandrone in number 48. So good job of driving by Rick Sipes in that Budweiser 4U car, winning our last main event on the 4th of July. Let's give him a good hand, folks. Rick Sipes.
This will be an 8-lap C main event for your NASCAR Chargers, and we're off and running once again as George Camp wants to keep this program flying. He flies the green in honor of getting the job done here tonight. Butch McCleskey trying to hold on to it off of the pole position into this one, but he gives it up in the early on to that number 9 machine, at least temporarily, of Terri Bennett up there, and McCleskey falls off to 3rd position coming out of turn 2. So Terri Bennett takes the early lead after all in that number 9 machine, but he's getting every bit of a push right now you might expect out of a guy by the name of Brad Marble in that number 26 Charger, currently running along and tagging right now the number 9 lead machine of Terri Bennett. It'll go by rather quick. It's just an 8-lapper for your C main for the NASCAR Chargers here. As we get a little high and wide up here in turn 4, and some fender bumping going on down here between the number 79 and 9 machine of Terri Bennett. A brief encounter of a fender kind out of turn 4 between John Thomas and Terri Bennett, who are running 3rd and 4th respectively in this one. Brad Marble takes over the lead in that 26 machine. But now Butch McCleskey has battled his way into the lead as it seesaws across the early on of this 8-lap C main event for you for the NASCAR Chargers.
Look at John Watson in number 30, Tom, bringing it all the way up to the rear to 5th place right now. Nope, now he's in 4th place.
Some good charges being put on by certain of the Chargers out here. McCleskey still running with the addition of air conditioning on that 36 machine, in that there is no hood on it right now. That went off in the earlier on breezes out here, Jack.
But it's not affecting him right now, as he's our current leader in the C main here at Raven.
Well, that ought to make things run real nice and cool for him, as a matter of fact.
George Camp's got the black flag out for car number 9.
Given Terri Bennett, who momentarily led this race, flag over apparently some flames and sparks shooting up underneath that machine as number 95 T-Bird comes tooling by, bringing up the rear of the field right now. Here's the opposite end of the other polarity, if you will. Butch McCleskey in number 36 having it all to himself right now, with the exception of Brad Marble and John Thomas, who are trying desperately to close things up on Brad.
Fire crew getting all suited up, but Terri Bennett has seen that he's got a fire under that car, so he's headed into the pits.
1 lap to go. The white flag waves for our leader, Butch McCleskey.
There goes a tire between turn number 1 and 2. He lost it as he head into the pits.
6 of them gone and 2 to go.
Uh-oh. Number 30 hit that tire.
And attrition playing at least slightly into this one. As we go to yellow, and Butch McCleskey will find Brad Marble closing it up on him as we anticipate a restart with John Thomas in the 78 machine and John Watson. I almost called him Jay Watson, but I'm sure Jay hasn't retired to the sport of automobile racing. Maybe he ought to.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll have to talk with old Jay about that.
Well, this is going to be real interesting right now, because the gap is closed up to McCleskey, as Brad Marble in number 26 is very happy about the yellow flag, because he will be running a close second right now with John Thomas also John was fading back. Let's see what they do, Tom. What do you think? Is George going green or what?
Absolutely. He's got a party to go to. McCluskey leads him by with the 2 laps now remaining in this one. Your C main event for the NASCAR Chargers. So McCluskey doesn't have a whole lot of time to have to hang on to that lead in order to put her in victory lane here. In fact, the white flag is ready to be waved by starter George Camp, indicating 1 to go as Brad Marble gets a little high up there in turn 4, Jack, and he's lost some ground on John Thomas.
John's starting to close it up right now, but John's time's running out. He'll have to do it if he's going to do it now. Or do it now if he's going to do it. I got that right.
So McCluskey, as it looked he would, takes the checkered flag. Marble goes second. Thomas third.
And Carsey Horvath moved up in the 5th place right at the finish line, overtaking John Watson, who had 4th place all sewed up.
The green flag flies to really jump into it, Jack, and if you're ready, take him away.
Okay, Perry Duffick leads him around semi-slow for the semi-main as George Camp looks at him. Off of number 4 they come, and they're on the green. There's a little pushing and shoving already, and we're not even into our first lap. As John Banks brings up the rear, Perry Duffick and that 14 car leads him on the round. And Jesse Brown, the man of renown, in 2nd place right now, along with Jeff Dwight in 3rd place. But Jeff being challenged by car number 45, Bob Langston. And Bob going wide and right behind Jeff Dwight. And look at this. Boy, they're just all over the place as they come around turn number 4. So Duffick in 14 out in front, but Jesse Brown is trying to catch up to him right now. And Jeff Dwight being challenged by Langston, and what a battle we have on for 3rd place right now, but Langston falls back just a little bit. And here we've got 4 cars. Look at that, Sheila Vanhoff trying to move up on Bob Langston. And Sheila doing a whale of a job right now, and she's on the inside of Langston, trying to move up into 3rd place. And we've got 111 with a flat tire, it looks like, or something. Almost wipes out your leader, but he goes on the inside. Perry doing a good job right there. But here comes car number 74, it looks like, or is that 72? That's 72, that's Jesse Brown. And Jeff Dwight jumps out in the 2nd place as car number 26 heads her into the pits. So you've got a new 2nd place leader right now. Perry Duffick, 14, leads him on around as Jeff Dwight in that car number 11 putting the moves on Perry Duffick. Here they come down the front straightaway, side by side, almost side by side, as Jeff Dwight could not catch him. And here comes car number 46 right now, moving on up in the 3rd place, overtaking Jesse Brown. Langston Gordon in number 46 going side by side as they come down the front straightaway. And here comes Jeff Dwight on the outside of Perry Duffick. And Jeff moves into the lead as Duffick falls back into 2nd place. And look at them bunched up right now. Woo-hoo! So Jeff Dwight and car number 11 making some good moves on Perry Duffick. And Duffick goes wide as car number 46, Langston Gordon, moves into 3rd place or 2nd place right now. And Duffick falls back further and further behind. Here comes Bob Pennington making his charge into 2nd place. Holy moly, look at that. Pennington gonna try to catch up to Jeff Dwight in that car number 11. And look out, here comes Pennington as Dwight leads him down the back straightaway. Pennington on the inside, Dwight on the outside, side by side as they head into turn number 3. Here they come off of number 4. What's going to happen now? Look at the battle for 2nd place. Also, Pennington moves on the inside. Can he overtake him? Not yet, as Jeff Dwight has a few horses left under that hood. Well, it's still anybody's race. We've got 6 cars all battling for the lead right now, right up front. Pennington still behind Jeff Dwight. Jeff Dwight leads him down the front straightaway as Pennington is in second place. Bob Langston in third place. Car number 45. Langston Gordon in fourth place right now. There goes Pennington making a move again. Trying to get on the inside of Jeff Dwight. Can't quite get up there. Jeff's got a lot of horses under that hood. And Jeff about to lap the number 0 car, that Smurf car. Pennington driving his heart out right now, trying to catch up to Jeff Dwight. He's going to have to really pour it on. Dwight heading into a little bit of traffic as the car number 0 is in front of him. Pennington goes on the outside. They're side by side. Pennington moves on the outside and overtakes Jeff Dwight for the lead as Bob Pennington, our point leader here for the 1987 season in the NASCAR Chargers, takes the lead. Down the front straightaway, and look at car number 79 right now. 79 taking over Jeff Dwight. So Ray Wilson in 79's in second place right now, and he's going to try to throw the line out on Pennington and reel him back in. And he's really pouring it on. That's Ray Wilson in 79 as Jeff Dwight hangs in there in third place. Oh, there goes an engine, it looks like. Maybe not. A lot of smoke, though. And he's still hanging in there. So Ray Wilson in that car number 79 in second place takes it on the outside of Pennington as Pennington heads down the back straightaway. A big puff of smoke on that last lap. Pennington leads him around. Ray Wilson in 79 goes side by side. Oh no, he almost spun him out as Ray Wilson overtakes Pennington for the lead. Jeff Dwight in third place. Langston Gordon in that 46 in fourth place right now. But Langston being challenged by 45 and 72. 32's into the pits. Bob Langston, 45. Jesse Brown in 72. Lap number 13 as Bob Pennington tries to catch up to Ray Wilson in number 79. And 26 having his problem. Looks like he's headed for the pits as here comes your leader, the car number 79, Ray Wilson, and Bob Pennington falling back. One more lap to go in the semi-main. Wilson, Pennington, Dwight, Gordon, Langston, and Jesse Brown. That's how they stack up right now. Here comes your leader right now for the white flag. If he can just hang in there just a quarter of a lap more, the checker flag, I should say, and the checker flag does go out to Ray Wilson. And Bob Pennington winds up in second place right now. And, ooh, look at that. Jeff Dwight almost overtaken by Langston Gordon, but Jeff hangs on to third place in that car number 11. Langston Gordon winds up in fourth place. Bob Langston in 45, fifth place. Jesse Brown, 72, sixth place. And Sheila Vanhorn. Hey, let's give him a big hand, folks. That car right there, car number 79, Ray Wilson. Boy, good job of driving by Ray Wilson. Coming up from the rear, matter of fact. I'll tell you what, let's give them all a big hand, folks. This is the first time that the semi-main has ran without a yellow flag. Let's give them a big hand, all these drivers.
Green flag falls, and if all goes according to Hoyle, we'll have 15 of them for you here as Herb Lang puts the early heat on in that number 87 machine, riding it off of the pole and maintaining the lead over Ernie Mincy, who's trying to close things up here in the early on. Likewise, the double fives of Billy Brandon is now pushed her up and into second place, running right behind Herb Lang in the number 87 machine. And Herb, off of celebrating a wedding anniversary a couple of weeks ago, seems to be running hotter than ever. Getting a nice glide pattern set up for the home stretch here. Billy Brandon looks to be closing things up in that number 55 machine. Setting it up rather nice, going up there in turn 1, where he had his problems several weeks back and over a span of a couple of weeks. Shoving Ernie Mincy right now out of Coolidge in the 3rd place. Behind that guy, your leader, and Billy Brandon. Running right on his rear bumper now is Ron Whitwell. In that number 34 machine begins to make his presence felt. He is running 4th place with another Lang, Dwayne Lang, rounding out your top 5. 15 lapper as Herb Lang parades it by in the lead. Leading brother Billy Brandon in that 55 machine, and look at the brother go. Closing it up down the back chute and bumping right up on his heels in turn 3. Let's see what kind of push they get out of turn 4. Lang maintains it, and Billy gets a little wild and woolly down here in the home stretch area. Ron Whitwell leading a parade of his own by in that number 34 machine. And here, of course, come the rest of the field. Herb Lang up top, Billy Brandon in 2nd place, and Ronnie Whitwell has now battled his way up to 3rd position in this one. Brandon leading a group of 4 of them through the home stretch into the turn 1 area. Whitwell getting just a little high and out of control up there in turn 1 as Herb Lang gets the indication from George Camp. You have reached midway, and he's done so. And that puts the lead on number 55, Billy Brandon, and the 76 machine of Ernie Mincy. Dwayne Lang currently in 4th place. Now Whitwell has been bumped back to 5th place. That rounds out your top 5 with your leader going by, and that much lead on that car right there. So looking good for Lang as we have crossed into the 2nd half here of our semi-main event for the NASCAR Winston Late Models. Herb Lang continuing on in the lead on a lapped car. Billy Brandon in that 55 machine is running 2nd place right now, ahead of Ernie Mincy. Chuck Boslin tooling by in the later stages of the rest of the pack in that patriotic teamer in the number 90 machine. There goes Herb Lang, your leader, with little trouble. Bill Brandon in the 55 machine running just a little less than a lap back and trying to get things closed up as D4 runs into a problem and waves himself. That's Pat Dalton out of Yuma. I would have thought he was heading off of the track and into the pit field, but he drove by the gate, and so George Camp has had no option but to grab the yellow and flag this one down.
I can't understand why Pat did not pull that one into the pits, Tom. He had plenty of time, but
maybe he saw a toll taker there at the last second and realized he didn't have a quarter in his pocket.
Well, they don't have rear view mirrors in these cars. They're not allowed to have them, so perhaps he didn't want to take a chance of cutting somebody off. So we'll have to check with Pat a little bit later and find out what happened.
So at any rate, over the laps that remain in this one, it's a bunched up situation for the leader, Herb Lang. And instead of having it all his way, he's going to find, as we get this one restarted, that Billy Brandon has gained a tremendous advantage here from that 2nd position and will be running right on his bumper.
I know Bill's really happy about this yellow flag. I know Herb's not, but Bill had him there for a while, Tom, and they bumped and shoved a little bit coming down to the front, down the front chute. And as Bill Brandon came out of turn number 2 over there, it looked like his engine died or something, and he got it restarted, but Herb Lang pulled way away from him. So Bill's certainly happy that that yellow flag has come out, and that will close up the gap quite a bit. Hey, Ernie Mincy's also pleased that the yellow flag came out, because that's going to close him up right behind Bill Brandon, and Dwayne Lang behind Mincy, and even Whitwell right up there in the top 5. Dwayne Lang, Tom, remember I said he was bringing up the field and from last place, and look at him in 4th place right now. Dwayne doing a good job trying to catch his brother.
He came from 11th to 4th place in this one. I would think that would make him pretty happy, and he'd probably like to be even happier yet. So that means when we get the green, which we can anticipate from George Camp's right hand right now, He's going to do everything in his power to close things up, and that'll also include Chuck Bosley bringing up the rear of the pack as we go green again. And Herb Lang gets an early jump on him.
Boy, he did, didn't he?
And leads Bill Brandon, number 55, into turn 1. That's how they exit turn 1. And look at Brandon.
Boy, what a
closing it
charge
up,
he's putting on.
doing a fantastic charge all the way through turn 2 and into the backstretch. Let's see how they set up and shoot out of turn 4. Your leader with that much pad on that man, Billy Brandon, and then Bernie Mincy running along in third place, still ahead of Dwayne Lang and Ronnie Whitwell. That's how they're running. Your top 5. Chuck Boslin is currently 6th in this one. But the big moves have been put on by that number 88 machine, Dwayne Lang, who came from 11th up to 4th place in this one.
And about to take 3rd place right now as he cuts on the inside of Mincy.
He's got it on the inside of turn 2, and now in his gun sights, he's got the number 55 machine of Billy Brandon, who's trying to close it off on that other Lang. Lang, who's probably still got some happy anniversary celebration going on in his mind.
Uh-oh, look what's in George Camp's hand.
White flag. 1 to go for Herb Lang, Bill Brandon, and Dwayne Lang in that order.
Oh, look at the charge now.
55 trying to do it low and on the inside out of turn 2, unable to get it done down the backstretch.
Oh, this is coming down to the wire.
Can Billy pull it out in turn 4 and
No!
the start-finish line? Not quite. But what a whale of an effort Bill Brandon put on just before going wild up there in turn 1. A wild ride for the spectators, and then a wild ride for himself up in turn 1. What a way to celebrate it.
At least he passed the checkered flag when he did that. I thought Brandon had him. He had him for a second just before the checkered flag, but Herb just poured it on and had him by a quarter of a car length. Car number 87, the winner of this one. Ooh, what a good job by Herb Lang and Bill Brandon. Folks, let's give the leader and Bill Brandon the 2nd place car. Let's give him a whale of a good hand. Bill Brandon and Herb Lang.
Whole field gets the hand on that one. What an exciting race, our 10th race of the evening.
They stacked up in that one.
And the come from behind honors in that one clearly go to that youngster Dwayne Lang, who started out in 11th place, wound up taking 3rd place in the semi-main event for the NASCAR Winston Late Models.
Hey,
what
we've got a midget out on the racetrack right now.
You'll see all kinds of USAC midget action 1 week from tonight out here as a part of our big triple header at Raven Raceway. Want each and every one of you in the stands here tonight to bring a friend and be a part of us a week from tonight, and also a week from last night, our big Friday night doubleheader, Saturday night triple header. 5 big programs unraveling for you over 2 nights of racing. Doing it in the dirt here in sunny southern Arizona. Another gorgeous looking Saturday night tonight. And the USAC midget kicking it up out there on the track for you.
That's Glenn Smith, Tom, in that 66 USAC midget car.
It's a bit of a preview to what you can expect out here 1 week from tonight when these guys gather en masse. Glenn Smith of Tucson among them in a sprint car owned by Grandpa Smith. It's a family event. A lot of these youngsters in the crowd that may be around you tonight. If you don't believe me, then just check with them. They've all got a big eye in their mentality on going racing at Raven sometime in their future. Can't think of a much better feeling for a kid to have.
That's for sure. Glenn Smith and number 66. And that paint job is by our good buddy, Al Allen painting. Uh-oh, he almost lost it there. Checker flags out for Glenn Smith. And say, Tom, why don't we do an intermission?
You think we should?
I think so. I've got to go potty. So, folks, that's exactly what we're going to do. Head on over to the snack bars or the restroom or the beer well, and we're going to have intermission right now. Be a short one.
Saturday. Okay, let's take a bit of a break. Stretch.
Well, we did it successfully. We only banged one noggin. He hit one lady upside the head with one of those dog dishes, and she said, "Oh my, those are made out of marble, aren't they?" Yes, indeed they are. So there's 5 lucky pets belonging to members in our audience tonight who are going to be pretty doggone tickled and proud when they find themselves the recipient of a gift from Valley Marble.
Stage them right now. George is ready. What car you got for us, George? Well, in the car number 34 tonight from Tucson, sponsored by Brandon Brothers Texaco, bringing up the rear, Pete's Auto Repair, Roger Hale Farms, Arizona Crank, Bose Distributor, car number 34, Ron Whitwell.
Sitting inside of Ron will be the number 76 machine down from Coolidge tonight. He is still looking for sponsors, so if you'd like to do some advertising, he's a pretty rapid-moving guy, and we'll get your name spread. 76 is driven by Ernie Mincy.
And the car number 88 from Tucson, Arizona, sponsored by Eastside Engines, DeYoung Motorsports, J&V affiliated, Valley Marble, the ones with the doggy dishes. Car number 88, Dwayne Lang.
And to the left of Lang in that red racing 55 machine, sponsored by Marketing Concepts, Brandon Communication Systems, Brandon Brothers Texaco, Bob's Engine Service, Certified Electric, and Jack's Towing, enjoying his 8th year of racing. And good to have him back at Raven Raceway in our debut season in the 55 machine, brother Billy Brandon.
And the car number 87 from Tucson, sponsored by Eastside Engines, DeYoung Motorsports, J&V affiliated, Valley Marble, Herb Lang.
So you guys with the doggy dishes can enjoy watching Herb this go-round. Sitting to the left of Herb Lang in the number 6 machine, sponsored by Southwest Stucco, Sunset Ornamental Iron, and D&R Communications, Ron Lutz.
And the car number 61 from Tucson, sponsored by Royal Automotive, Copper State Towing, Quaker State Oil, Rogers Automotive Finishes, available at Big A. Car number 61, Rapid Roy Gibson.
Inside Rapid Roy in that B-52 machine, sponsored by Performance Engine and Machines, Certified Auto Electric, Brassfield Auto Parts, Braswell Carburation, Copper State Towing, Simonson Generator, ABC Radiator, DeYoung Motorsports, Ron's Racing Products, and D&M Manufacturing. The machine of Jamie Throckmorton.
In the car number 71, sponsored by George's Automatic Transmission, Certified Auto Electric, Dick Pinnell's All Exhaust, Cactus Boot and Shoe Repair, a Chevy 404, Paul Banghart.
And on the inside of that row in the number 14 machine, sponsored by O'Reilly Chevrolet, Townsend's Racing Works, and Arizona Machine and Tool Supply, the number 14 of Terri Green.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go down trackside for a moment and give the microphone to Mr. Dave Maness.
No. Yeah, we do. All right, I had a special deal I want to do tonight because of what has been done here with Rod Nielsen and Jim Brasfield on their new sponsor. It's not actually a new sponsor, is it, Rod?
No, they've been with us since the beginning of the year, and they've just gotten more involved here recently. And we really want to thank them for all the participation they've done at the racetrack and for the racing community.
Well, with Findlay Distributors getting majorly involved, we already have Budweiser, we have Ivan Russell in the Coors Silver Bullet, we got Trimmer. I think it's a real tribute because I want to tell you folks something. It wouldn't have happened without full grandstands. These businesses are getting involved with these racers because they see a potential of getting their market advertised. So I just want to thank the spectators especially for these good crowds you're having. You got tremendous racing going on here in Tucson, believe me. NASCAR has announced we are the leading track in car count of all dirt tracks in the whole United States at the present time. We are also the leading attendance of any dirt track on this side of the Mississippi River. So I think that says a lot for you people up there. Thank you. As for Jim Brasfield, his shiny new car, Findlay Distributors, Dennis Olson, and Mrs. Findlay, thank you very much for getting involved in a good race team. We all appreciate you. I know you're a lot here. Also, one more person. Got Terry Green over here, which is another noticeable. It's a brand new car that's been out here just the last couple of weeks. O'Reilly Chevrolet heavily involved. Thank them too, and Terry Green. We'll go on with the announcement. Thank you very much.
Well, let's talk a little bit more about some of the sponsors Jim Brasfield has. Besides the Miller Lite and Findlay Distributing Company, his major sponsor. Also, he has Wiley E. Coyote Racing Team and Sam's Tavern. A1 Automotive, Paint Supply, Competition Fuel Systems, Larry Shaw Racing, Performance Engine and Machine, Arizona Crank, and Brasfield Auto Parts. Let's give him another hand, folks. Car number 26, Jim Brasfield.
On the inside of that fifth row, the 23T machine, sponsored by San Javier Rock and Material and George's Automatic Transmission of Tucsonan Jack Moore.
On the outside of the fourth row, the car number 22 from Tucson, sponsored by Ajo Cafe, George's Automatic Transmission, Performance Engine and Machine, a Camaro 355, Dan McFedron.
Inside the fourth row, car number 24 from Phoenix, sponsored by Crusher Service Company and Twin City Wire Cloth. That's Steve McGuire at the wheel.
On the outside of the third row, in the Budweiser 4U car, sponsored by Golden Eagle Distributors, Performance Engine and Machine, Certified Auto Electric, Brasfield Auto Parts, Braswell Carburetors, Pennzoil, top of the line and repair, ANC Radiator from Tucson, the winner of our last main event on 4th of July, car number 4U, Rick Sipes.
And to Rick's left, in here from Eloy tonight, sponsored by Hancock Towing and Garage of Eloy, the Valley Auto Parts of Eloy, the Eloy Pickers and Snap-on Tools of right here in Tucson, Eloy driver Mike Hancock.
On the outside of the second row from Tucson, sponsored by Southwest Stucco, Sunset Ornamental Iron, Cobra Road Lounge, the Bootery on Craycroft, DNR Communications, and Secret Response. Car number 9, they call him the Laughing Boy, Marion Smiley.
And inside the second row, Jack, the number 17 machine, the Coors Light car, also sponsored by A. Pierce Company, Arizona Spring, Townsend's Racing Works, McLaughlin Body and Paint, Pima Welding Supply, and Pennzoil 2, behind Tucsonan Ivan Russell.
On the outside of the front row, the pole sitter on the outside tonight for this main event, sponsored by Borderland Construction, Performance Engine and Machine, Quaker State, Pro Construction, Terri Trailer Sales, car number 94 from Tucson, Jack Coca.
And on the pole position behind the pace car, as provided by Rawlings Chrysler Plymouth tonight, the number 74 machine, sponsored by Blue Circle West, Performance Engine and Machine, Danny's Racewear out of Amarillo, Braswell Carburation. It's the Spirit of Vicky Lynn car, driven by Tucsonan Carl Trimmer. So,
there you have it.
Your various favorites in their various positions here in the grid work before we send them off. do their thing in our late model main event.
And that car number 9. Look who else is there. Mike Hancock in 73. Rick Sipes in 4U. Steve McGuire, McFedron, Jack Moore, Brassfield, Terry Green, Paul Banghart, Jamie Throckmorton, Roy Gibson, Ron Lutes, Herb Lang, Bill Brandon, Dwayne Lang, Ernie Mincy, Ron Whitwell. This is anybody's race.
Okay, Lens, stand up. Remain on your feet for the first 15, 20 seconds or so until we have completed the wave. The Raven wave as set up by the lead 2 cars. This will be your last practice chance right here. So beginning at the north edge of the stands now, stand up when those lead 2 cars get in front of you. And let's see, yeah, we've got a pretty good wave going by the time we get down here to the southern end of the grandstand. So you folks up at the north end, let's get a little bit more together here. This could be the start of the race, and if it is, let's give them the big Raven wave and get them off and running here in their main event tonight. As soon as you see the lead 2 directly in front of you as we look for 30 clean laps of racing, stand up and give them the wave and give them the cheer. Good job. Nice one, ladies and gentlemen, and we thank you. That ought to spring these guys into a swallacious wind-up of 30 laps of main event racing for you tonight, with Carl Trimmer taking it off the pole in that 74 machine, and now trying to stave off Jack Cocott in the 94 machine. And Cocott suddenly gets shot by the number 17, the Coors Light machine of Ivan Russell. With that much of a lead on Ivan and then Cocott, and followed by Mike Hancock of Eloy in that 73 AM machine. Those are your top 4, and still running lean and clean with a little bit of action up there between turns 1 and 2, but not enough so as to produce trouble and bring out any yellow. So we continue to run just like we did before, with Trimmer in the lead, Ivan Russell trying to close it up, followed by Cocott and Hancock. And look at Jack Moore tear into it, passing him by at least a couple of them in the first half of this lap as he inches his way up toward the top 4. Are Trimmer, Russell, Cocott, and Hancock. Rick Sipes is also up there along with Steve McGuire in the top 6 as these men are still doing it under the green. And there's your leaders, Trimmer and Russell, Cocott, Hancock, and Sipes and Jack Moore now going right near one another and fighting it out down the backstretch, trying to move into the bone of contention of Trimmer, Russell, and Cocott. And now McGuire rounding out the top 4 with Moore and Hancock running behind them, and Sipes looking steadily consistent here in this one. Even though, Jack, he's running about a half lap behind your leader, Carl Trimmer, as I speak. At 34, Ron Whitwell finds relief in the pit field.
34-6 and 61 head into the pits right now.
Carl Trimmer with that much of a lead on that man right there, Ivan Russell. Cocott rounding out the top 3, McGuire after that. Then it's Moore and Sipes, who have now moved ahead of Hancock. And so they go round and round in a 30-lap NASCAR Winston late model main event for you here on a Saturday night. You folks came for a superb automobile racing program, and I think we flat out got it here tonight. So few yellows, most of our racing done as it was meant to be done, under that beautiful colored green.
Look at Throckmorton challenging Rick Sipes right now.
And back up here at the top of the pack, Trimmer has run into a little bit of traffic. He may as well get used to it because there's a lot more traffic ahead of him as Mike Hancock loses it out of turn 4 and into the infield area but he keeps it basically under control and brings it back out and into the thick of things.
As Tom Boyd loses his stool up in the press box.
So a good ride by Hancock. Left a bit of a dust devil behind him, too. Carl Trevor, the Blue Circle West 74 racing machine, in the lead. And that's tough news for Mike Hancock out of Eloy, heading to the pit field. As attrition does begin to mount here in our 30-lap NASCAR Winston late model main event. There's your leader in 74, Carl Trevor. Pushing it ahead of that number 17 machine of Ivan Russell. As you can see, by about 1/3 of the distance around this, the wildest, wackiest 3/8 in the West. Carl Trevor in the lead by that many seconds over that man right there, 17, Ivan Russell. Jack Kokot battling along in 3rd place now, just ahead of Steve McGuire out of Phoenix. Jack Moore and Rick Sipes round out your top half dozen as these gentlemen are given the signal from George Kemp that they have reached midway. We are halfway through our 30-lap late model main event, and look at the traffic pattern coming out of turn 4, being led by Jack Moore, apparently on Rick Sipes in the This Bud's 4U machine. Marion Smiley up there on the high and outside, and there's why. He was able to power right down that back chute and close up somewhat on Sipes and Moore.
Look at Smiley go.
He has passed Sipes and temporarily passed Moore.
And now he's got him.
The Laughing Boy has got the lead coming out of turn 2 and down the backstretch off the rest of those guys in that pack. But remember, it's a race aside from the main race, and not too far behind them comes the leader, 74, Carl Trevor, followed by Ivan Russell in that 17 machine, then Kokot and McGuire. So we've got several races within this main event tonight, and what a show it is. There goes the Laughing Boy, still leading Sipes and Jack Moore, and Brassfield too. Carl Trevor will now have to do it through some traffic. He's got them stacked up ahead of him as he powers it low into turn 3. And that's how he brings it out of turn 4 and down the home stretch as well. Looking to lap it up, as it were, on some of those slower cars that are now in his midst. He's got a good half dozen of them running right there in front of him. Now he's reduced it to 5. And he'll try to nip it down to 4 here momentarily. Carl Trevor in the lead in that 74 machine. Being careful back there down the back straight, Jack. And he's got to be. Now he's got Jack Moore in the 23T car on line in front of him. Paul Banghart just before that, fighting it out with Jimmy Brassfield right now in that number 26 machine. Moore runs into traffic trouble back there. It's also holding down, although not so visibly, Carl Trevor, your leader in 74 right there. Ivan Russell still pushing it in 2nd place in that 17 machine. Jack Kokot in number 94 is right behind him. Keeping it in the green, Rick Sipes. Trying to close things up. He's trying back-to-back. NASCAR Winston late model main feature wins here at Raven Raceway, but he's got a lot of work to do in that 4U machine right there if he hopes to get the job done.
Well, we're going into lap number 25 right now, Tom, so there's only 5 more left to go.
Trevor continues to lead, and he continues to decimate the traffic. He's now got the 3 cars in front of him, and he's being mighty careful not to get caught up in something freakishly wild and unnecessary back there that can suddenly eliminate him from that. So Trimmer with 3 machines in front of him, but he is in the lead in this race and working right now tenaciously on Jack Moore in that 23T machine. They get the feeling with as much of a lead as he has built up Jack that his closest competition, Carl, is running an ultra-conservative race right now because he doesn't have to do any differently. Ivan Russell is running about, was earlier about a third of a lap back. I would guess at best about a fourth of a lap back now. That may be a combination of factors. There's Trimmer. That much of a lead on that car right there, number 17, Ivan Russell. As the white flag comes to the right hand of our starter and man who finishes it for him too, George Kemp, all ready to indicate to Carl Trimmer, as he does right here, you've got the 1 lap to go, guy. And so Trimmer, who ran so well in our earlier heat racing tonight, not backing off any here for the main event, obviously, and having it pretty much all his own way. Carl Trimmer in 74. Winding up with the victory in this one, Ivan Russell running a distant second.
Oh, look out here!
Followed by Jack Cocott in 3rd place, and we get wild and woolly to wrap this one up in turn 4. This is going to be interesting for some close traffic powering through there. Paul Banghart, I was beginning to wonder. Thank goodness that dust cloud didn't move any quicker than it did.
That was Dan McFedron losing it just before the checkered flag in that number 22 car. So your winner of this one, you all know him, car number 74, Carl Trimmer. 2nd place goes to Ivan Russell. Jack Cocott holding 3rd place in that car number 94. Steve McGuire, car number 24 in 4th. Rick Sipes in a Budweiser 4U car in 5th place. And Marion Smiley, Laughing Boy, winds up in 6th. Let's give him a good hand, folks. Good job of driving. Car number 74, Carl Trimmer.
Good show for you folks and by you folks in the stands tonight. You gave them a great Raven wave, and what did they give you in return but
a good race?
A yellow-free 30-lap main event.
I believe it's the first one in a long time.
Incredible.
Phew.
This night has been something else, hasn't it?
Sure has. Good night of racing. Main event for the NASCAR Charger, so stick around. One more good one to go for you.
So, to all the spectators, man, you got to get ready for this monsoon time when it does hit. And when it does hit, you just have to bear out with what we have to do, and we'll have to cancel a few or whatever, or try and get them in. But that's the hardest thing about promoting this facility is worrying about the weather right now, Tom. I couldn't believe tonight. You know, we had a major storm come in here on Wednesday and just dumped water, and we had to pump it out of the corner over there to the lake over there, what we call it. And right now, I think we're in good shape. I don't know what's happening with the monsoon, but maybe we won't get it this year.
Lake Mayonnaise, by the way.
Lake Mayonnaise over there to the left. And Dave, as well as you and Linda have done this year, and despite all those various little hurdles that you've just alluded to, there's so many folks in this valley. I mean, all you have to do is go around this town, and the way people are talking about what you've done out here and what kind of guy you are. They saw you tonight running around with the radio out there in the infield. They've seen you in weeks past when you had a light up here above the starter and flagman's cage. You weren't quite satisfied with where it was aimed. Who climbs up to the top of the pole and adjusts it but Dave Maness? I would like to think that with what you have done in a short 14 weeks time out here, that perhaps the powers that be might consider putting a dome over this for you.
Yeah, keep the weather away. But if the people will just keep turning out the way they are, and our good shows and the Chargers and late models and midgets and supers and are just putting on a whale of a shows this year. And I think it's a real tribute to the crowd, too, because that's what's making the racers come out. And it's important to keep that atmosphere going. And right now, I think we're in the heart of the season right now. And I tell you, next year it's going to be bigger and better, and we're going to add on more stands and more bathrooms and just a little more time, and we can get into next year. But right now we got to finish this year.
Okay, real good, Dave.
Super update on what goes on a little bit behind the scenes.
Okay.
And boy, I can imagine how scary it must get from time to time when you're in that management throne chair.
Okay, Tom, we're going to stage them right now, but real quickly, let's sing happy birthday to Tony Barrow up here in our press box.
Yeah, let's do
Tony
it, crowd.
Barrow,
Happy birthday for Tony Barrow, who, without her, none of this would happen. So let's give it to her now. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Tony. Happy birthday to you. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Good evening, friends.
George Camp from the back of the pack. Let's get him introduced.
Bringing up the rear tonight in the NASCAR Chargers main event, the car number 46, Langston Gordon.
Next to Langston in the number 11 machine, Jeff DeWyatt of Tucson, sponsored by Luke's Italian Beef, Drake & Sons Truck Parts, Gravely Battery, C&L Thunder Enterprises, McBrothers Motorcycles, Frontier Towing Service, Jerry Bishops. Jeff DeWyatt in 11.
In the car number 15 from Tucson, sponsored by Gary's Towing Discount Tire, Bud's Outback, Howard's Hydraulic. Car number 15, Bob Pennington.
Next to Bob, the 79 machine of Sierra Vista and Ray Wilson, sponsored by Arizona Sign and Graphics and Chaparral Van Lines, number 79, Ray Wilson.
The car number 62 from Tucson. Hey, they call him Sweet William. He's sponsored by DeGraw Auto Parts, Corral Tire Company, Friendly Auto Sales, Big Old Tires. Car number 62, Bill Harless.
That number 19 machine, sponsored by Cabodo Pontiac, Metro Oils, Astrolite Battery, Ken's Exxon, El Campo Tire, Johnny's Restaurant, Gary's Towing, Sparks Cycle Supply, Offmuth Used Cars, and WW Enterprises, Tucsonan John Feder.
And the car number 96 from Tucson, sponsored by Adobe Battery, R&R Truck and Auto Repair, a 23-year-old fella. Car number 96, Don Brown.
Number 98, sponsored by Bishop's Floor Covering, Fisher Engineering, LeBeau's Radiator Service, Evenson & Sons Welding, Tucsonan Ron Bishop.
The car number 6 from Tucson also. Most of them from Tucson tonight in this Charger division. The Golden Eagle Distributing Car, also sponsored by Brassfield Auto Parts, the Sneak Joint Bar and Grill, I like that name, Lancaster Pest Control. Car number 6, Don McMerrick.
And the number 23 car, sponsored by Barrett and DeYo Construction, Brassfield Auto Parts, Gary's Towing, Tia Elena Restaurant, House of Carpet, and Allen Signs, Tucsonan Gordon Sams.
And the car number 80 from Tucson, sponsored by Airport Signs, Merriman's Southwest Tire. Car number 80, Carmen Griffith.
And the number 99 machine, sponsored by Bar 22 at 950 South Wilmot, Tucsonan Larry Artman.
And the car number 69 from Tucson, sponsored by Old World Automotive, Western Lumber Supply, All Coast Forest Products, Snavely Forest Products, Malco Lumber, David Henken.
Inside the fourth row in that 91 machine, sponsored by Alpha Plumbing, Greco Painting, Designed Communications, and Lou's Speed Shop, Tucsonan Brian Clayton.
On the outside of the third row tonight, sponsored by Max Marine, Pro Tire and Wheel, Hall's Mobile Home Repair, you guessed it, from Tucson, car number 17, Kirk Hall.
Inside the third row, the 71 machine, sponsored by Jim Hayes Welding, Miners Auto Parts, Chris's Machine Shop, and Banks transmission specialists